Excellent. This is unbelievable. My heart is like fluttering here because we have the attendees that we do joining us. My name is Marillion Masidi, and I'm with Bono Pest Control, and I chair with Kelly and Courtney, the Professional Woman in Pest Management of New England. And it's a chapter that we started a few years ago. It's definitely gaining momentum over the few years. And if it wasn't the pandemic going on, of course, we would have in-person conferences. And there is a silver lining because we get to reach out to all of you. So thank you so much for joining us. I just want to quick couple of notes, and then I'm going to introduce Courtney. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Facebook, New England PWIPM, and LinkedIn. Also our website, which is nepma.org/PWIPM. And also Kelly has your email as well if you also registered. There was a question at the beginning when we were waiting. If you have not, or if you are thinking about starting a chapter in your area, you can reach out to Allison of NPMA, and she'll get you the resources and tools that you need. I also wanted to just make a quick announcement that last year we also started our first Woman of Excellence Award for New England. And this year's recipient, we will be announcing first here, which is Courtney, who is our moderator today from Pest End in Plaistow, New Hampshire. So just want to congratulate Courtney so much. And we're going to be recognizing her at the New England Pest Management Association Spring Training, which is the first week in March. So the announcements first here, and just congratulations again, Courtney, for well deserved. If everybody can just mute themselves, we're going to get started. I'm going to let Courtney take over right now, and she's going to be our moderator for the next hour. So thank you again all for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Courtney Karachi. I'm one of the owners and the COO at Pest End Exterminators. I'm very honored to be the recipient of the Woman of Excellence Award, so thank you guys for that. It means so much to me. But without further ado, I would like to welcome everyone to our Foraging New Frontiers Women Leaders in the Pest Control Industry. We have a lot of great topics for discussion and some wonderful insight from our panelists. I just want to take a quick minute to remind everyone about the Zoom rules. Please keep yourself on mute. You can rename yourself by clicking on your screen and selecting rename. And please use the chat to ask questions. If you exit full screen and click on the chat, the box will pop up on the right-hand side of your screen so you can monitor the questions as we're going through. And we do encourage you to use that chat feature because we are going to open it up to questions at the end from the audience. So to start, I'm just going to give a quick little overview of our panelists. So Marillion is, as she said, the president of Bono Pest Control. She is involved regionally and nationally in the pest control industry, and among her responsibilities, and there are a lot, she is currently the treasurer of the National Pest Management Association. Sherry Spencer Bachman is the owner of Spencer Pest Services and the founder of Pest Control Business Coach. She has earned her associate entomology certification and is actively involved in volunteering her time to many great causes, such as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And finally, our last panelist is Eve Pappas. She is the vice president and director of sales at Hoffman's Exterminating Company. She told us that next week she will be celebrating 40 years in the pest control business. So she is going to be a great addition to our panel. She's involved locally, regionally, and nationally in the pest control industry. And in 2015, she started a nonprofit called Tri Canine Response Team. So as you can see, we have a lot of great individuals on the panel who have a lot of different experiences for us to cover. So we're going to start off with Eve. Throughout your career, you have held different positions in various companies. And as a result, you have a lot of experience in various facets of the business. How has this helped you navigate challenges as a woman in the pest control industry?
Well, that's a loaded question, but it's a fun one. Um, yes, I have held many positions, but I would say the key to my success was having a mentor. And as you know, we're in a man's business, and I thank the gentlemen who are on the call today because that just shows us that you care about what we're doing. Um, Basically, with having this mentor, you guys all probably know him. It was Wayne Golden, and he worked for Orkin, then went to Terminex, and then came back to Orkin. But you know, they did an article on me one time, and I said, how can I score any baskets if I'm sitting on the bench getting splitters in my behind? And I guess that kind of like woke them up a little bit, and they actually gave me a shot of running a branch. And in the number of years that I was there, we basically went ahead and grew the branch to 15 routes. And it's not about what I do, it's about what other people do. Because without your team members, you're never ever going to be successful. So they're the ones that really are the nucleus that takes care of your customers, adds them, keeps them, and you continue to grow. So I would suggest, to find either one of these lovely ladies that are in your group, or more importantly, you could find a gentleman too that's been involved. But you have to go with the intentions of what is your end goal and what is it that you really want to accomplish. And sometimes you may not even know that right off the bat. So, find a mentor because that's the way to go.
Thanks so much, Eve. Marillion, you run a very successful business and are very involved in the industry, both regionally and nationally. What suggestions can you give to women who are looking to become more involved in the industry?
Yes, absolutely. I would say well, there's a couple things. One, the first is to get involved. Start on a committee, whether it's locally, be involved in your regional, local association, and kind of start small. And then, that can take you into, whatever you decide to do, whether it's regional or nationally. If you have a passion for something particular, I would focus on that. Um, at the same time, network, stay engaged, prepare and educate yourself, learn different avenues of the industry. Sometimes you think that it might not be, your focus. For example, when I was on government affairs, that was definitely not my forte, whether it was locally or nationally, but it was definitely educational. And I had to learn, I had to have that foundation to grow, so that was really important. I also want to let you know that it's okay to be uncomfortable. If you are in certain positions, it's okay. It's all about a learning process at the same time, and try not to look so much at what others are doing, and just concentrate on yourself. You may think that something is good for you if it's good for them. For instance, there was a time a few years ago that I thought I needed my ace, and I haven't been in the field on a regular basis in a long time, and I really felt that I needed that, and I didn't. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, type of thing. And I went in a different direction in the industry and in the business. So and just be yourself, and try to take care and have that balance of work and your personal life, and make sure that is balanced. As women, we try to multitask, and we have families that we're raising, and we're also, managers or whatever, even service technicians at companies, which is so hard, and having that that balance. So really concentrate on that, because sometimes when one doesn't work, the other one will, have that kind of unbalance. So, and just be true to yourself. That's all I got.
That's perfect. Sherry, let's turn to you for a moment. You had previously mentioned to me in some of our conversations that you came up through your dad's business and worked in various positions in the company. And now your daughter is currently running the pest control business, and she too followed a similar path. Along the way, you helped to guide and mentor her. And Eve obviously just spoke about how important a mentor is. What advice do you have for women who are looking to pursue leadership roles in the industry, especially if they don't have a mentor readily available for them?
So first of all, thank you, Courtney. It's a pleasure to be here and joining these ladies of New England. You guys are doing amazing stuff. Really impressed with what you're doing. So I would like to say there are mentors everywhere within this industry, and that is one of the just super cool things. When I joined my dad's business, I really had no intention of being in pest control. And when I met all the people, I fell in love with pest control and the industry, but I had no clue what I was doing. And if it wasn't for all the mentors I have met through getting involved, both on a state level and a national level, and participating in all the different events, and then you make friends and network, and I have mentors everywhere. And I wouldn't have had the success without them. And one mentor isn't always enough, because sometimes, everybody has different strengths. They bring different things to the table. And I just thank God every day for all the wonderful people I've met in this industry, as men and women, but lots of great women. And then as well as all the mentors that have guided, directed me, opened their businesses for me, helped me learn, helped me grow, all that different stuff. I will say through MPMA's LDG program, they have a mentor match, and that is one source of finding mentors. Groups like this, PWIPM, great source for finding mentors. I mentor quite a few businesses, and it's fulfilling for me as a mentor to give back to the industry, because so many were so giving to me over the last 30 years. I hate to date myself. I was in elementary school. But yeah, so over the years of all the mentoring I received, it's great to be able to return the favor. So.
Awesome. All right, so now we're going to get the audience involved a little bit in this. Kelly is going to put a poll out, and we would like your honest answers, and then all three of our panelists are going to kind of give their response to the question and look at what the results are and see if they agree or disagree with it. Heather just commented in the chat that we need an above all for the poll.
Courtney, can I make a comment on one of the questions?
Absolutely.
So Liz asked, how do you know if a person's the right mentor for you? Just talking to them, interviewing them almost like you would an employee, but asking questions, making sure there's a good personality fit, as well as do they have the knowledge and the experience to help you in the areas that you're trying to learn.
All right, so it looks like the results are in, and overwhelmingly, it looks like more publicity of the industry, but high school and college job fairs and establishing mentor programs are close behind. If all three of you guys can kind of speak to this and your experience or your opinion on this, we would appreciate your insights.
I can just say that the NPMA has the workforce initiative that's coming out, and they have a video that is geared for women. It's a nice professional video that shows women in the workforce, and I know that they are promoting that, and they have been. So that's really going to be taking off as the years come up. And I also agree with reaching out to the colleges and, trying to get that message out in your own company, as well.
I would also agree with what Marillion said. Last year, I guess it was, I found a lady that she used to clean houses, and now she's like our junior salesperson that does some services and does some actual work itself. And I wanted to hear her voice and see what her reflections were, at first. And then once I met her, she was just as a dynamic in person as she was on the telephone. And so when I go out and do job fairs, I kind of plaster my table up with a lot of the women in pest management handouts and the things that we have, to attract the ladies in this, because, there's all kinds of roads that you can take. I started out doing a salesperson, then from there to tech, and then a manager, and so on and so forth. So and then you find your niche of what it is you really like to do. But I think the more we get the word out, both locally and nationally across the United States at job fairs and things like this, I think that's going to be great. And I'm also working with a couple people in the state of Delaware about actually putting a mentor program together with some of those colleges to find people that either want to be in our industry as technicians or salespeople or whatever. And believe it or not, there's a lot of grant money out there, and people don't even realize it. So sitting on the board for the Delaware Pest Control Association, and also being involved in the local chambers, is going to kind of help shoot that forward. So, I agree with, a lot of what you ladies are thinking. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I've found over the years, being a woman as a leader within a business, you attract more women because women like working for women. The men, on the other hand, it's like, ooh, a female boss, that's going to be interesting type of deal. But office staff and salespeople and those have been easier. When I managed an office, I had 80% of my technicians were female, and it was great. But when when the men are managing the office and being the service managers and being the branch managers and stuff, it's been harder to attract female technicians, I feel. But then there's that, ooh, that'd be interesting to go work for a woman. So it's finding them. It's always been a challenge. It's been a topic of discussion for decades as to how do we attract more women. I will say it has changed a lot. When I went to my first Pest World back in the 90s, again, I was in elementary school. No, there were like 10 of us. Like you saw no women. It was all men. It's like, ooh, I feel like, this like, am I in the right place kind of deal? And then I went to my first PWIPM meeting, and it's like, okay, there are 10 of us here, and that's it. And to see like the pictures of not only, and to be a part of, like the last PWIPM meeting on national I went to, there were like 200 of us. And then to see what New England Post has done in the big picture with your last, I mean, it's just, and even, you know, what they're doing in Florida, South Carolina's now we did a drinks and something Monday night with the South Carolina PWIPM. And it's just so great to see all these states starting to reach out to more women and get more involved with each other and have the opportunity to bring women in from local companies that don't have the opportunity to go to national events and stuff. And I just say kudos to the whole women's group within the industry, because we're rocking it. And we're just, I mean, we're attracting more and more women. So we're doing something right.
Yeah, can I just say something after what Sherry was saying was that I'm involved in a lot of the chambers locally in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware area. And whenever you get the opportunity to jump on a women's conference, I would highly suggest that you do so, because you're going to meet some dynamic women. Like, you know, I met this lady that's the vice president of Wells Fargo Center. Now they've never had a woman, you know, vice president with hockey and, you know, and all that. So how cool was that? And she actually, there was a big article in the newspaper about her like 2 weeks later after she talked. And then you got these women that are presidents of hospitals that kind of spearhead women in business, and they have these conferences. So anytime you get the opportunity, there's where you might find yourself an awesome mentor, because they don't have to understand our business. It's business is business. My father owned a paper company. It's you take care of your customers, you take care of your employees, and you take care of the company. And those are the only three things you need to know about. And then the rest automatically happens. So I would get involved in as many women things as you can find. And I see Sherry saying, yeah, because they got great ideas. And I'm loving it, because now I have more time to do those kind of things where I didn't as we were growing the business through the years. So please get involved.
I'm going to follow up with that. Carmen just asked a question which is pretty relevant to your discussions right now. She's asked, how did you find out what you really wanted to do in the industry, and how were you able to express that so you were able to achieve your goal?
Who wants to go first? This is a good one.
I'm happy to do that one. So I had no desire to be in the industry. When my dad bought a pest control company, I'm thinking, what is he thinking, right? So it was just kind of crazy. And I was in the computer business. I went in to computerize the books and fell in love with the customers, the customer service, loved talking to him on the phone. And then I wanted to go meet him in person. So then I went out into sales. And when I was in sales, I loved being out in the field and different things. And we had to let a branch manager go. And I went, oh, I could do that too, because then I would be able to help the employees and I would be able to mentor them and improve their lives. And I love helping others. I love problem solving and helping others succeed. And, you know, when I see an employee show up in a new car or hear they just bought a house, it just warms the cockles of my heart. It's like, so being able to do that. So I just went and said, I'm going to run that branch. And my dad looked at me and he goes, you have no idea what you're doing. I said, I know, but I'm going to go do it. I can do this. And so putting yourself out there, not being afraid, taking on those challenges, not being intimidated by the men in this business. I mean, I hate to say that to the men that are on here, but women tend to be a little more intimidated than men are of each other, you know, of each other, but just do it. I mean, and now I will say service is not my strength. I learned it to get credibility. I got all my state certifications. Marillion and I together decided to get our ACE, and she bailed on me. I'm just and so did Sheila. I'm putting Sheila out there too. So
I see you.
There were 4 of us and I got mine done. It took a while, but that was a challenge, but I did that for credibility too, to make, I can do this as a woman. We can know the technical, we can know the business. We've got bigger hearts that feel, and go for it. Just get out there and try different things and see what you really love and go that direction.
Marillion or Eve?
Well,
I was just, go ahead, Eve.
go ahead, Marilyn. Oh, okay. Well, I went to college to be a phys ed teacher. So I got into pest control because, I saw this ad and I said, and it was a sales position. And I said, you know what, let me go just see what it's about. And so I went there, I got the job, and I told the guy, his name was James Rossi. I'll never forget it. I said, you got 2 years to teach me everything that I need to know to do your job and to do more. And if that doesn't happen, I'm leaving. And the only reason why I had this confidence was because of my father. My father owned his own paper business, and around the dinner table was always, how do you take care of customers? How do you take care of your employees? And he would give us different situations. So then I had the opportunity, after doing sales, I was a tech, and then I became a service manager. I became a branch manager, region sales service manager, and I kept growing until my goal was to become a vice president. That didn't happen. So I closed that chapter and I said, I'm going to do something else. And then I helped another company grow. And then that chapter got closed. And then, as you know, you ladies, I got a chance to meet you up and down the East Coast, which was like the coolest thing. And then I was bored because I needed to do more. And then I joined Bill Hoffman's team at Hoffman's Exterminating, and he wanted to grow his business. So we came in at $2.7 million, and we've grown it to over $8 million in 5 years. And I did the same thing when I worked at Viking. But you got to know what you want, and you got to go for it. And it's okay if you fail, and it's okay if you screw up. That's how you're going to learn. And again, get good people around you, because when people are great around you, you're just going to continually flourish and do better. And you got to want to help others just as much as people helped you.
Thanks, Eve.
You're welcome.
Marillion, you have anything you want to add?
No, I was just going to say, when I first was working for my father as well, I was in my early 20s, and I didn't get into the business because I liked bugs or I didn't like bugs. It had nothing to do with pest control itself, but I did see it as a business opportunity. And the fact that I was out, I started as a service technician, but the fact that I was out and meeting people, and I became really I had a lot of pride in the accounts that we did. It was commercial work. That's all that I was really doing. And I really felt like I was part of those kinds of communities and helping those people. And as I kept growing with the company, and our succession plan was going to take place with my dad retiring, I knew that I wanted to move full throttle, and just stay focused in what I was doing and really concentrate on the business and just wherever I could excel, and just staying focused, again, in the lane and moving full throttle organically.
Awesome. Some really great points that you guys all made here. We're going to switch gears just a little bit. Eve, let's talk about your career specifically. What is the most important risk that you have taken in your career, and why do you feel it was so important?
I guess there was 2 risks. One was being a single mom raising a daughter by yourself, and saying, okay, I'm going to have the opportunity not only to be a branch manager, but how am I going to balance being the mom and also being the branch manager at the same time? And You know, it just, again, it takes a village to raise a kid. And I always had great people around me. Um, and then my parents moved the paper business down to Virginia, and my daughter and I stayed up here. So again, so I had to create another nucleus of people to help me. So I would say that was one. I was asked many times to go in partnership with two people in particular. One was Paul Lutz, and the other one was Bill, and I both told them no in the early 2000s because I was afraid to be that risk taker. So my point to you is it's okay to feel that way, but again, get some people around you and put your thoughts on paper, because I may have been at a different point financially better than where I am now if I was to take that risk. However, it did pan out in the end by circling back with Bill. So you just don't know where you're going to go or what's going to happen. So it's okay. Take the risk. And if you fall, so what? You're going to get picked back up again because people are going to be around you to help you.
Absolutely. Switching gears a little bit, and actually this question has come up twice in the chat. So obviously it is a burning question that everyone wants the answer to. And Marillian's lucky enough to get to answer this one. So obviously we've talked about some ways to grow professionally. In addition, we have some programs in place locally, regionally, and nationally to help women in the industry and encourage professional development. So kind of bringing it back a little bit, do you, Marillian, have any specific recommendations of courses, books, podcasts, or anything for women who are interested in growing professionally or developing their leadership skills?
We did the NPMA CEO forum. It was 4-week series. And one of the speakers on there was Randy Gravitt. I'm sure many of you know him. And he just came out with like this quick, easy 21-day course, leadership course to your best year ever. And it's literally just one day. It's a quick daily lessons, videos, assignments, and it's things that you already know, but it's just a nice confirmation, and it really makes you gear on to what your goals are coming up. And whether you're a leader or a not, it's just, I loved it. It was something that I just needed right now, and it's easy. And it's, like I said, it's Randy Gravitt. He also has a book that's called Unstuck with Dan Webster. When you feel like you're just kind of idling a little bit in life, whether it's, professionally or personally, it's a great book too. So I just happened to finish that, and it's fresh on my mind.
Do either Sherry or Eve have any suggestions?
So I am a lifelong learner, and I find that most successful leaders are, and successful business people. When you meet people outside the industry that are extremely successful and heads of companies, and you start talking to them, they will all talk about the books they've read, the podcasts they listen to, stuff like that. And I used to get very overwhelmed because I would have all these recommendations of these great things to listen to and these great things to read, and have this library at the office of all these great business books on every single subject. And it's like, I'll never get to these, and there's so much to do, and blah, blah, blah. And so one day I was listening to a guy, and he said, it depends on what you want to learn. So there's plenty of information out there, but what is it you're trying to learn? So if you focus on what it is you're trying to learn at that moment in time, and there's just so much. Think and Grow Rich was one of my favorite books. The E-Myth. I have probably a dozen podcasts I listen to. I do recommend listening to books, audiobooks, because you can put them up to 1.5 to 2 times speed and listen to them while you're walking or working out or dealing with your children that you don't want to listen to or whatever that is. But I can get through more audiobooks than I can physical books. And then if they have some good points and I want to go back. The other thing somebody taught me that was really beneficial is when you read a business book, if you get the key nuggets and the book starts getting boring, you do not have to read the whole business book. Like, no, you're not going to get in trouble for that. And so I was, when you're given that permission, it was like, oh, wow, I don't have to finish that. Some of them, the first couple chapters are great. And then maybe the last chapter, but in the middle, I got what I needed. I don't need the other stuff. So constantly, focus on what it is you want to learn. Tons of great resources today, thanks to technology out there. And, happy to give people a list if they're trying to learn different things, but yeah.
And
Okay.
I just got a book the other day called Building a Story and Brand, Clarifying Your Message So That Customers Will Listen, and use the 7 elements of great storytelling to grow your business. So this just came in the mail the other day. This was recommended to me by one of our manufacturers, and she sits on my committee for the folks down in Delaware, Maryland. And I think we're going to have somebody come in and talk about this book at our next women's meeting, which I think is going to be at the end of March. So I'll let you guys know if you want to join us. But I agree. There's a lot of great books out there, and just like Sherry said, some of it's good and some of it really doesn't pertain, and some of it might be over your head. So just kind of pick and choose what you want to do. If you want to do sales, and get sales books. If you want to do administration, then find administration books. And if you want to do things on service, then find those types of books.
I would also be remiss if I didn't mention both PMP and PCT magazines as great resources for everyone too. They share a lot of business resources and have books that they also sell on the industry. They have great articles in there, so they're a great resource as well if you're looking for more information on different aspects of the industry. But also, they do a lot of interviews. There are people who write articles that are owners. So it's a great source too, in addition. And those are quick reads as opposed to having to read an entire book, which I know some people get a little overwhelmed with that too. All right, moving right along, Sherry. So we've discussed a lot of different things in the industry, and really it's a question that I have been asked, and granted, I've been in the industry for 16 years, but that's because it's been since I was in high school. And I have noticed changes in the industry from starting then to now. As a woman in the industry and both in the pest control business as well as a pest control business coach, how have you seen the industry change for women since you began your career?
So when I started in the industry and would go to meetings, most of the women were like husband and wife teams. So it was the wife of the husband actually ran the business and the wife was in the office, picking things up. And I felt like we were almost looked at like, the wives of the owners kind of deal. And that we were there for socializing and not for getting stuff done. And that has changed a lot. Just the amount of information and just education, the women today, they're doctors of entomology, they're great, successful vendor representatives, they're strong HR people, they're incredible salespeople, they own pest control business, they're CEOs, they're, key team leadership people who have, made a difference in the companies they're working in by helping them grow and made a difference in the industry. My first NPMA like committee meeting other than PWIPM, I was the only woman in the room. And there were many of those for many years. And I was almost looked at like, why are you here? And it's like, I'm here to learn. I'm here to figure out what this industry is all about, how I can help, how I can be a part. And then it switched to, we're glad you're here because we need a women's perspective, and tell us about, are we thinking correctly? And we're now realizing our customer is the female. So how can we change our marketing? How can we change our message? How can we attract more women? And even the men are asking how they can attract more women to the industry. And so there was just this nice, great flip of, and now any committee meeting you walk into, it's just as much women as there are men in the room, and it's great, and everybody has a wealth of information to offer, and it's just been awesome to see such a great change. We used to not have a line at the restroom, and now there's a line. It's like awesome.
That's great. All right, we are going to now ask a second poll question to get some audience participation in here. And then after this last discussion, we'll open it up to questions. So please use that chat box. I know we've been kind of going back and forth with some already, but there are definitely some that we have not gotten to yet. So ask away. And Kelly's going to put up that poll right now. One of the reasons we chose this question is because over the past year, obviously a lot of things have changed with COVID. So work-life balance has changed for a lot of people, especially if you're working remotely a lot. So we were trying to gauge how everyone has adjusted to COVID life, I guess. And then if we have any pointers for how to improve work-life balance, we can certainly point those out as well to you. So it looks like overall, everyone says that their work-life balance is good. So I'm happy to hear that. No one said it was poor. We did have 33% that needs improvement. I fall into the good needs improvement mark. So I'm not, depends on the day, I guess. But let's hear from our panelists and see how they have been coping the past year and how their work-life balance is. Sherry, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I struggled with this years ago because I was a workaholic. And so having work-life balance was difficult. I also am a doer. And so it was like, I can do that. I can do that. I can. And then next thing you know, you're working 60, 80 hours a week. And especially once my children grew and went to college, it was kind of like I took it all on and then realized, I needed to go out and have more fun and have that balance. So delegation is huge, being able to delegate and empower your people. And as a doer, you wonder if they can do it as good as you. Like, I'll just do it because it's quicker and easier for me to do it than to have somebody else teach somebody else how to do it. But you're, number one, hurting yourself, but you're not empowering your people. You're not allowing them to grow. And sometimes what I have learned is they do it a whole lot better than me. And so my mindset switched, and it's like, this is kind of fun that they're doing better than me. So let me give them more and more. And it's not a sign of weakness on my part. It's a sign of strength. And I changed my mindset to have a self-managing company to where it wasn't dependent on me. So I can leave for a month. I do not have an office in the office anymore. They can run it without me. But the cool thing is, even though my daughter runs day to day, is she can do the same thing. So she has empowered her people and delegated, and we work in what we love and what our strengths are versus just doing stuff and being busy and working hours for the sake of working hours, or because we think somebody else can't do it better. So taking that time to teach and mentor others on your team to free you up, because we should be working to live, not living to work. And the difference in happiness is incredible. And I actually doubled my income by empowering my people and working less, which is why I started coaching, because I was bored. It was like, okay, I'm working 5-10 hours a week. Gee, I need something else to do. So I started helping other companies because I love helping people. So it gave me something to do and served a couple purposes. So
Awesome. Marillion, do you have anything to add?
No, just the fact that at one point I did have a hard time letting go, because I really felt that I could just do everything and it's just easier. And then you get to a point when your company is growing that you can't do it all, and that there's things that will be neglected. So once I was able to really let it go, and like Sherry said, have somebody else and delegate, it was just a game changer. It was, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't do this, a long time ago, and then focus on the things that is my passion in the industry, and moving forward with that. So that was huge. And then the other thing was, when my kids were little and they were small, it's different now. They're in college and high school. It was different when they're younger. And thank God I had, my husband home for the support. That was the balance that I needed at that time.
Absolutely. Eve, do you have anything to contribute?
Um, yeah, I mean, the ladies basically touched on it. Because I always, I've always put my employees first and my customers, and what I had to do came in on the back end. Especially more so when I joined with Hoffman's and Bill's, group. Um, dealing with the insurance guy came after 5 o'clock because the employee came first. But now we got it down where we've added more revenue. We've got more people to do this. As Sherry, I moved out of the office in 2019, so I've been working out of my house since 1920 and going forward, because I don't want to go back there. I just pop in at different places at different times, and Bill and I are really having a lot of fun, doing our charitable contributions to the Ronald McDonald House, and helping out with my nonprofit, feeding 5 food pantries last year, and just doing a lot of stuff. So we finally got to that point. So that's why I answer the question good, because I'm not there yet. So, but we'll keep working on it. I got 5 more years to go, and then we'll see where that goes.
Awesome. All right. Well, that wraps up our section. We have several questions to get to, though. One of them from Adam: when Eve was running a branch, did she have any gentlemen who did not agree with a woman running the branch? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Really good one, Adam. Yes, there was a couple of gentlemen that didn't really like that. So basically what I did was I sat down and I had one-on-one conversations with them. And I said, okay, can you tell me, if you were me, what would you do? And I just basically sat there and listened to try to build that person's self-esteem up, and let him know that, number one, I'm there to listen, and this isn't my show, this is our show. And sometimes that got hard, but the other thing is like Sherry made a comment, and I think Marillion said, is get out in the field with the people and show the people what you can do to help them. Walk the walk with them. You can't be a person who's going to dictate stuff, because that doesn't work. So, you got to get people involved in it and spend time with them and get to know your people and get to know what their family life is and what's going on with people. And when you do that, it's amazing. Let them think that they're running the show. You're just the coach calling the plays. They're the ones that's executing.
All right. Carmen asked, has male empowerment been an issue or a setback when trying to make it in the industry? Tough question.
Well, I would say yes, because I worked for Orkin for 27 years and retired in 2008. And when I knew that I wasn't gonna run my own region or run my own branch, then I knew that I couldn't grow as a person any longer. So I needed to find another avenue that could help fulfill my needs as a person to be a better person. And it's not that I don't like them or anything like that, because I love the company. I have stock in it. I think they're a great group of people. Um, but at a certain point, you're going to realize, what decisions you have to make as an individual to be where you want to be.
So for me, I found it a challenge that I was going to win. So it was kind of like, okay, we can show them that us women can do that, and yeah, I mean, and it's changed so much. I get so much encouragement from men. I have had so many male mentors. I've had a lot of female mentors, and have been very blessed that there's some incredible females in this industry to act as mentors. But I have had incredible male mentors too, who've opened their business up to me, and I wouldn't be where I am today. So they want us to succeed too. And I don't think the divisions are there like they used to be. I think that the industry has changed night and day and come a long way, and it's just so exciting to see. So exciting to see such great women out there in our industry.
Awesome. All right, we have a couple more questions. What is your favorite aspect of the pest control industry?
Oh, I'll jump on that one.
probably-
It's the people. It's the people. It is such an incredible industry. My husband owns his own business. He's in a whole different industry, and he loves our industry. He goes, the people are amazing. They share everything. I have competitors who have shared supplies. I have shared supplies. When you get in a pinch and you're in trouble, you can go borrow. They'll let you come visit their business. We have people come visiting our business a couple times, like we just had a company here this week visiting our business. They open their doors, they let you in, they share their stuff, they speak about it at conferences, they give you best practices. It's no other industry does that. Like, people look at us like we're, it's like, you do what? Why do you do that? And I have some of the greatest friends because of this business. Met Marillion at Academy. She was on my team. I think we were the only two women. We won, we got a gold. We were excited. It was great. Marillion and I have been great friends ever since. I can just list names of people and companies who and vendors. Amy Chapman, I think, is on the call. Sheila, we have been friends for years. I just had lunch with Amy this week. It was great. So the friendships, the people, it's the people. What a great industry, and they're willing to share. It's just incredible.
I second everything that Sherry just said. Marillion, you looked like you wanted to jump in there too.
Yeah. She beat me to it, right? It's the relationships. At 100%. Absolutely. And I've never met anyone that I couldn't approach. Everybody was extremely approachable, and that's it, hands down. No matter if they're a CEO at a big company or a small family business, I never experienced anything like that. And that's probably one of the main reasons why I focused so much on it and moved forward. Absolutely. Everything that Sherry said.
How about, who do you look up to for inspiration or mentorship? You want to tackle that?
Well, as Sherry was saying, there's female mentors and there's male mentors along the way. I have to say that when I first started, it was my father, 100%. He just really gave me the reins to do whatever I wanted to do, and he didn't pressure me and be in the business. He was pretty much like, it's here if you want it, and I will support you. And he did. And there was challenges that I went through being a young female pest control operator that didn't fit the stereotype. So there was all those challenges that I had to go through, and he was really right there with me. And the 3 Italian uncles probably helped a little bit along the way too. But yes, I would say my father. And then there was, like I said, male mentors along the way. Some that worked at my accounts that were in positions that, helped me and guided me, which was a great learning experience. And then, of course, hands down, NETMA, New England, relationships that were built. Can't take that away. It's really priceless.
Awesome. We're going to wrap it up with one more question. Jessica posed a really good question that we really didn't cover at all. So, have any of the panelists received criticism, jealousy, or intolerance from other women in their company or the industry? And if so, how did you handle the competition from other women and overcome that adversity?
So I'm really happy to say no. So everybody's always been helpful and giving. I've never had that feeling or anything even involvement nationally on boards, in the state on boards, and in the company itself. Everybody's there for the good of each other, right?
Awesome. Eve, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say there was one. Matter of fact, she became my boss. And I guess on one of my reviews, she said to me, you're not going to get where you want to go until you learn how to, step on people and do that. And I looked her right in the eye and I said, well, I guess I'm just going to be who I am, because that's not who I am. And I guess I'll never get to where I want to go here because I can't do what you're asking me to do. And then everybody thought her and I hated each other. And then when her husband passed away, I was the one that called her to ask her if she needed me to be there with her. So you just be true to yourself, and everything will work out for the best, because there are people out there like that, but I see very few of them in our industry now today than I have in the past. So just surround yourself with great people and great things will happen.
Well, I think that is an excellent note for us to end on. Kelly has recorded this and she will send it out to everyone. She is also going to compile a list of the books that were suggested in the chat, different types of leadership books. So please look for that in your emails. And really, we just want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our panelists. I think you guys provided some amazing insight into the industry. We covered a lot of different topics. And I really appreciate being able to be a part of this with you guys, because you really are an inspiration to so many people in this industry. If you guys have questions, I'm sure that all of them and myself, we're all willing to answer them, email us, anything you need. But again, thank you for joining us. We hope to have a couple of more panels in the future. Kelly already called me this morning with some ideas. So we hope to see you at those. And if you guys have anything that you're doing with your chapters, please let us know, because we'd love to join you as well. But other than that, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys all again soon, and hopefully maybe in person at some point.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.